So there's some drama that's been going on, and I've been putting off talking about it for days. Every evening I'm like, ugh, I'll do it tomorrow. I just don't, I feel stupid every time I just try to explain it. But people are starting to be concerned, and I feel like I have to address it, so I guess it's tomorrow. Let's recap the whole story as quickly as possible. The Skeptic Feminist was a YouTube channel with 3 people on it, and recently a 4th person had come in. The original 3 were Harley, Russian Deadpool, and Dominatrix Ivy. Laura Athena was the new kid on their block. I was friendly with all of them, but I was closest to Ivy, whose real name was Heather, and that's what I'll call her. Not long ago, as many of you will know, Russian Deadpool, Alexander, shot Heather to death. I don't want to go too much into details, but it appears that hallucinogenic drug use and other issues contributed to this. That is not to excuse or make a judgment on that. It's just stating the facts as I understand them. When the news of this was starting to come in, a group of YouTubers, Sargon of Akkad, Kraut and T, Uzalu, and V, had a hangout where a lot of disgusting jokes were made, like, here's the feminists that got triggered for the last time, and talking about, well, the bodies are still warm, and all of that. Now, I just want to clarify that I know to some people it makes a difference who said what and who made which jokes, but not to me. They were all there. They all either laughed or went along with it. If 4 people commit a crime together, even if a couple of them aren't as into it as the others, they're all equally guilty under the law, and that's just how I see it. Like, if you knew it was wrong and didn't stop it or leave, you're just a coward and just as guilty. That's my take on it, and people can disagree with it, but that's how I see it. So it makes no difference. And there's no guilt by association here. It's the 4 people that were in that hangout that I'm mad at. It's not anti-feminists. It's those people who did that thing. That's it. Now, after the hangout, there was a lot of arguing for a while and some outcry against it from their side of the fence and whatever, but it has more or less died down. Anyway, a few days ago, it got brought up again by a friend of mine, Christy Winters, when she criticized a puff piece Ian Miles Chong had written on Sargon or some such thing, and asked him as a journalist if he would criticize what Sargon had done on that live stream. Now, some people have expressed that they're confused about why Christy would do this. Why bring this up? Why bring up Heather and these old wounds? But I totally get it, actually. Because that whole situation, everything that happened around that, it's like an itch you can't scratch. Heather was such a wonderful and decent person, and her legacy has been so tarnished by all this ugliness that's just totally against what she was about as a person and how she lived her life. And it's like, ever since then, things have really been different. Everything has felt angrier and uglier and more difficult to take. And it just sits there in your head, in your gut, and it's so hard not to lash out. Literally the only reason I've bitten my tongue for so long is it's because I think that's what Heather would have wanted. She was always arguing for better discourse, less of the us versus them thinking. The irony here is she would have handled all of this so much better than I have, for sure. She's just nicer. Anyway, Sargon saw Christie's tweet and came back at her with, "We're all sorry one of your male feminist friends murdered a woman. I hope none of your other male feminist friends turns out to be bad." I saw that, and I'll be honest, I got real angry. I tweeted to him something like, "What the fuck is the matter with you?" And he and I started getting into it, and it just degenerated from there. I started out pissed and ended up really pissed. And I called him dog shit and some other mean names and told him to fuck off. He said some asshole things and demanded I apologize to him because it was Chrissy who was wrong for bringing it up in the first place. And I was like, I'm glad she brought it up. People should always tell you what an asshole you are. And I'm going to tell you every day of your life what an asshole you are and remind you. Now, that last part was something I said in anger. And friends of mine were like, hey, too much. Take a breath. And I did, and took that part back because I wouldn't really do that. I might want to, but I wouldn't. Anyway, Sargon reported a couple of my tweets where I called him names to Twitter, and I got a 12-hour suspension. For the record, I'm fine with the suspension, and I wouldn't take those names back either because I do think he's a really shitty person. And if having the opportunity to let him know that warrants a suspension, fair enough. I will pay that price. Now, as far as his hypocrisy, which is what a lot of people have been talking about, I kind of think that's obvious. You know, Mr. Free Speech Absolutist my left butt cheek. But I also think that it is totally unsurprising, at least to me. I mean, I have no respect for him. I've seen him be a hypocrite, and so, whatever. I am sorry to hear that some of the people who've called him out have gotten quite a bit of crap for it. There it is. Now, let's play some of his video about all of this. I'm just gonna focus on where I come in because it's a long video. He likes to go on, and other people can worry about what he says about them if they feel like it. Or not. I don't care.
And so I had said, I'm sorry that one of your male feminist friends shot another one of your friends. I hope none of the other male feminists around you turn out to be bad, or something roughly approximating that. And I had done this deliberately, to piss Christie off, and the rest of them, because all I get, all day, from these scum, because all I get, all day, from these fucking liars, is abuse. And I'm not the one who's categorizing this as abuse. They are the ones who would categorize this as abuse. If I sent to Anita Sarkeesian just half of the stuff they sent to me, I'd probably get shut down. They'd be reporting me non-fucking stop. And they'd be calling me every name under the sun anyway, which they already do. So fuck these people.
So I think this is just him thinking about people as a monolith. I can appreciate he gets a lot of ugly tweets. I do as well, all day. But he has more Twitter followers, so, you know, maybe he gets more. But it is a bad sign when you start thinking everybody is just the same. Like they're just one block that just tweets you, as opposed to just a lot of individuals who do it. Like me, I don't report people except in fairly extreme or unusual cases on Twitter. I just mute or block them. I've reported people for making a fake account, pretending to be someone else, and I have reported somebody talking about violence and hurting people with guns. But that's it. You know, I apparently have a better record than Sargon on free speech. Yay me!
So yeah, these people can get the complete wrath of my ire as far as I'm concerned. I do not care about their feelings at all. I'm not interested in protecting their feelings. In fact, I want to hurt their feelings to the point where they just leave me alone. Because they...
Well, this is where I say that I have blocked Sargon, so he doesn't have to worry about hearing from me ever. Look, I didn't realize he felt this way. He's always talking about the free exchange of ideas and being a shitlord and offense could be taken and not given. And my attitude about this sort of thing, this sort of like offensive speech or envelope pushing speech has always been different people are just different how they handle things, and different people are in a different position in society, which has an effect on that. In a sense, it's like spicy food. Some people don't like any spice at all. They want food bland. Some people like some now and again, and then there are some people who love it and want to have it all the time. And people who don't want it shouldn't have to have it. But if they do like it, fine. Then let them have it. Throw on those jalapenos, whatever. And the way Sargon talks, I always just assumed he was like that. But let's face it, if you're at the point where you want to hurt other people just to shut them up, I can't even imagine that. That's not good. And clearly he doesn't like it spicy. And that's fine. So I'll reiterate what I say in the description. Don't contact him at all on my behalf. Don't send him this video. He makes it clear he does not want to know, and that's fine. So please don't share it with him. Just let him be. And by the way, to anybody else, you don't have to use my friend's death as a stick to beat me with, okay? You can just ask. Like, it's actually fairly common for aunties to ask me to block them. Shoe on Head did it a couple weeks ago, and I blocked her. I mean, it's kind of funny they don't just block you. They want us to be the blockers, but you know what? It's fine. I'm all about consent.
So many people tell me they're basically like an anti-Sargon community, and that's fine. They can go and be an anti-Sargon community as much as they want. They just don't have to contact me. And if they're going to contact me and consistently denigrate me, well, guess what I'm going to fucking do in return? I'm not going to suddenly treat you with respect and think, well, I mean, I don't want to hurt that person's feelings, even though they're calling me a piece of shit, even though they're lying about me and calling me scum, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hurt their feelings. No, fuck their feelings. Fuck the social justice community. There is no dialogue to be had with them. They don't want dialogue.
So, I thought a word of explanation was due here. We are not an anti-Sargon community, and the fact that he considers himself so goddamn important and central is kind of funny. I made a video about him a week ago, and it is the only video I've ever made about him. Like, that's it. Other people I know have done more, but these are just the people who critique anti-feminists and their ideas on a regular basis. I don't know of anybody who's just about him. Now, I've heard of people talking about anti-Sargonism or being anti-Sargonites, but they don't mean they're against him as a person. They're not against Carl. It's the ideas that he specifically espouses. Looking at a couple of his tweets here. Because they declared war. Look at what they've done to you and magnify that by 100. And weakness is provocation. That's why they got so bad. They'll rein it in now. And I showed in my last video that weird thanks to all the meme warriors shit he had going on with the Starship Troopers and I don't know what he was talking about. This whole idea that we're in a culture war. To me, it's just absurd. We are YouTubers. Get a grip. Yes, we disagree about a lot, and it gets ugly sometimes. But a little perspective here, okay, dude? Please. So that's what people talk about when they say they are anti-Sargonites. They mean that they are against this idea that he's been so prominently espousing, and which many of his followers apparently agree with, that we're at war with one another and need to act toward each other in that way. Okay, let's skip ahead.
But I have to say I do agree with Chrissy. We don't have to do a flagging war. And you know what you need to do to avoid the flagging war, Chrissy? You have to not abuse people. I don't give a shit how hurt your feelings are. I don't give a shit about how hurt any of the friends you have, any of the really shitty friends that you have. I don't care about their feelings either. And you know why, Chrissy? I'll tell you why, and I'll be really, really candid about this. Because you don't care about mine. All they do, all you and your friends do, is tweet at me with bullshit, or lie or misrepresent what I'm saying. So to go ahead. You can sit there and go, well, oh, I'm so offended, well, be offended. I don't care. I just don't care. Go away. There's no value to your community at all. So get the fuck out. Stop wasting my time.
So I am trying to get people to not do the flag war thing. It's happened in the past. It doesn't go well. Please don't flag people on my behalf. As far as Sargon goes, I don't understand him at all on this point. Like, what does he even want? What is he even trying to accomplish? Does he want the Wild West on Twitter or a cushiony safe space? Does he want a place where people can be despicable about a murdered woman and get nothing for it? Or does he want a place where people don't get mad and say mean things to each other? A marketplace of ideas or an echo chamber of shitlords jacking each other off about how edgy they are but don't hurt our feelings over it? I can't even tell you where he's coming from.
Basically, Chrissy, what I'm saying is don't fucking at me if you don't want me to tell you that, by the way, male feminists are dangerous. And you know that firsthand.
The male feminist thing is gross. There is no reason to suppose that feminism had anything to do with Heather's death, any more than atheism or skepticism. And this misandry here, it's sort of a grotesque extension of the white knight thing. Like, men can't be feminists because they think it's the right thing to be. The white knight idea is they're all just trying to get laid. And then now this idea is sort of upping that to where they're all murderers or rapists or something. Let's just not treat men in any context as people who are going to do something horrible when they've not done anything themselves to make you think that.
Seriously though, I can't believe any of you expect any kind of charity towards your feelings from me. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. You don't seem to understand that having a community of people doing this to you isn't a very nice thing.
Oh, we get that. Oh my god. Are you... What? Okay, never mind. It's not like we haven't told you what kind of shit your community puts us through. It's not as if you don't know. You know people send me jokes and memes about Heather's death because they at you. So I know you know. Your little shitballs don't fall far from the turd. I know you're aware of the threats and the hate. And no, I'm not saying two wrongs make a right. I mean, I don't know what kind of shit you get or how much you get. And I'm not going to make a judgment that it's the same. But you do get that this is just a vicious cycle at best. And you, as a person who's considered a leader of your community, are clearly trying to perpetuate that cycle. It's ridiculous.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't want you to be banned. I don't want you to be censored. I don't even want you to stop doing what you're doing. Just don't fucking contact me. And certainly don't expect any kind of emotional charity from me. Because the next time you tweet at me, I'm just going to remind you that you're still hanging out with potentially dangerous male feminists. And we have a long history of male feminists being dangerous towards the women they hang out with. So, don't even fucking contact me, Chrissy. Go away.
Again, I'm honoring his request very happily. I will not contact him. All I can say to people, we are having some fights here. We're having some arguments. It will be up to us as individuals to choose how we want this fight to go. It will be as bitter and as angry and as vicious as we want it to be, or we can make decisions to rein it in and try to do better. I'm a very small YouTuber. I don't have the kind of say or influence that's going to really change things. I can only suggest that we should try as best as we can to be as nice as we can. Neither side is going to be perfect. There will always be assholes on every side, and they will be doing bad things. But the more people doing good, the better it's going to be. And speaking of this, you know, one of the things that has bothered me so much is that I really believe that Heather deserves so much better, and I hate feeling like people are going to remember her as this sort of controversial. It's really upsetting. And like I said, I get a lot of jokes, I get memes, I get just today somebody sent me a video where some idiot went to the place where she died and rolled around on the ground doing her last moments, and it was upsetting, okay? And so I really want to do something that will sort of turn this around so that when in a year from now, in 2 years from now, in 5 years from now, if people look into this, they'll be able to see what a good person that she was, and it won't be this bad. So my idea was, and hopefully you guys will come in with me, is I would like to do a compilation video, what I'd like you to know about Heather. And I'm hoping that people will either send me little video vignettes or write things in the comment section, little messages, little notes, pleasant memories, things that you think it's important, just whatever you think you would want somebody to know about her, positive and happy things, so that maybe we can turn a little of this tide. And I will put this together. I don't monetize my videos at this point, and even if I start doing that, I won't monetize this one. This one will just be for Heather, and I'll ask anybody who wants to mirror it, they can go ahead, but I'll ask them not to monetize it, or only to monetize it and give it as charity, and I'll try to get some other YouTubers involved, maybe reading things. So please, if you want to, if you knew Heather, if you loved Heather, if she affected you, or you have pleasant memories about her, put that into the comments. I haven't really been able to watch her videos where she was on. I hope somebody's been doing that. I hope somebody's been making a record. Anyway, that's it. That's my plan. I'm hoping to bring this out on a good note. Anti-feminists are just as welcome as feminists. Anybody who wants to sort of share this in a happy way is more than welcome to do so. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hopefully helping me out with this project. And yeah, it's been Chrisiosity. You know you liked it. It's a thumbs up. And you know you want more, so subscribe. Bye!